Overnight, we've had a large pod of long-finned pilot whales come in to the beach at Tresness in Sandy. British Divers Marine Life Rescue are on the scene and are currently assessing all of the animals. We know quite a few of them are dead already, but we do have some live animals, so we're assessing them all so that we can basically decide what happens next. Probably one of them has got into difficulty and the rest have come in to help. At the moment, we're asking people to stay away because we're still in the assessment phase. If we do need help, we will put a request out. I know from experience how difficult these incidents are, and I think we have to be realistic. We will do our utmost best, obviously, but they have been here for quite some time.
Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and mercy to the 144,000, the elect. And you believers out there, to you all, I say shalom and greetings. I'm your fellow lowly servant Yeshaya, and I pray, Lord willing, that this lesson is edifying through the Spirit. All right. So I would have put a clip up, and it says it's from BBC News. It says whole pod of 77 whales die in biggest mass stranding in decades. Okay, so this sparked a couple of thoughts for me. Obviously this wasn't in America, but this is first of all, a lot of animals have different migration patterns during certain times of the year. That's something to note about animals. And this is not a lawful animal to eat in the first place. But we're about to start seeing these different animals do more of this, right? Because when the time comes for famine, I always think about this. How can you have a famine if there are fish in the sea? So we know, according to prophecy, that the Lord is going to remove the beasts from the oceans so that people can't be able to access them. You're not going to have a guy who's going to own a boat unless he's a man of the Lord, right? But he's not going to own a boat and just go out there and catch mad seafood and lawful or unlawful, because when you're dealing with the wicked and the heathen, they'll eat whatever is put before them. So this is the largest one in decades. 77 whales beached themselves. And see, if it was Esau, Edom, and Jacob's trouble or famine was going on, he'll try to get on his boat, think he gonna go out there and go fishing. And if he catch a whale of this size, or a shark, or a squid, or an octopus, he would eat it. So the Lord is gonna either have the fish around where they can't access them, and a lot of them that the boats can reach, he probably, a lot of them gonna die off. And this reminds me of the plagues. That's the first thing that came to my mind, right? So I'm going to jump to the book of Exodus, the 7th chapter. I'm going to start at the 17th verse. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, and this thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Behold, I will smite with the rod that is in mine hand upon the waters which are in the river, and they shall be turned to blood." All right, so the rod that we're smiting the waters with now is the Lord's word. All of these prophecies going out, you got to understand, prophecy sticks, if you understand what I mean. So that's why the Lord said prophesy to the wind. These words and your vocal cords carry vibration. So if we say we putting up curses on Babylon gonna fall from that vibration that's coming off through the Spirit. The Lord's hearing our cries, our pleas, right? If we're saying that there's going to be a famine out here, the Lord is going to make these crops burn up. He's going to make these animals perish off, right? These things are going to happen. We were watching the movie The Road, and it's crazy because we got a different perspective on that movie now. They might have been on some PDF file on that movie secretly on the low, and now that we took it from a different perspective, but that's neither here nor there. But the movie, they never explain what exactly happened, but it's basically like a large ecological catastrophe, some type of catastrophe where everything is burning, the trees are falling down. It's just like a lack of life. He said everything is gray, right? But this is in the time of Moses and Aaron, right? It says, "And the fish that is in the river shall die." That's a prophecy. That was a prophecy that would happen. And the fish that is in the river shall die, and the river shall stink, and the Egyptians shall loathe to drink of the water of the river. So they're not going to want the water that's out there. They're not going to want to be in it. They're not going to want to swim in it. They're definitely not going to want to eat the fish, right? The scriptures say that you should not eat of something that dieth of itself. And so imagine a stinky fish. Like, you know, for anybody that's ever had, let's say, like, it's been times where I'll put like some chicken breasts, raw chicken breasts in the fridge to like thaw. And then you might think, oh, okay, you can skip so many days and be like, maybe is it still good? And then you'll try to clean it, and it just got this lasting stench on it where you just know the meat has gone bad. And it's like, part of you want to cook it, but you know that smell means it's beyond its expiration date. You know, so how much more when the Lord makes these plagues come and you got Atlantic Ocean fish stinking, Pacific Ocean fish stinking, all these rivers that's up in Babylon that they be getting. And that's the thing. The Lord's going to do away with a lot of them because they will eat anything. They're not following the law of the Lord. So the Lord is going to take it all away from them. You know, it says, and the Lord spake unto Moses, saying to Aaron, take thy rod and stretch out thine hand upon the waters of Egypt, upon their streams, upon their rivers, and upon their ponds, and upon all their pools of water, that they may become blood. See, the Lord cold. He said all their pools of water. So wherever is a water source that an animal can be there, stretch out your hand upon it. He said that it may become blood, and that there may be blood throughout all the land of Egypt, both in vessels of wood and in vessels of stone. So it was to the point where that water everywhere was filled with blood. If you got a damn barrel, he said vessels of wood. If you got a barrel that got water in it, you got a stone or a damn well that got water in that, it was filled with blood, man. So the Lord wasn't playing, man. You know, he's using Moses and Aaron to do these things. It says, and Moses and Aaron did so as the Lord commanded, and he lifted up the rod and smote the waters that were in the river in the sight of Pharaoh and in the sight of his servants. And all the waters that were in the river were turned to blood. And the fish that was in the river died, and the river stank. And the Egyptians could not drink of the water, and there was blood throughout all the land of Egypt. You see, so this is they weren't able to drink the water. So a famine that got so bad where it caused a drought as well, because the fish are going bad, but the water was turned to blood, and the water was bloody and stinky. You're not gonna want to drink that. You just know it's not good. Guess what? You can't do no filtration process on that. It still ain't gonna be drinkable. It's gonna be undrinkable water. Okay, but when we're starting to see more and more things like this that's happening in the earth, whereas wildlife perishing is letting you know that a famine is coming, right? Especially here on these shores of America, man. These people are proud. The food consumption here is beyond me, man. People do how much they waste, how much they slay animals that aren't supposed to be eaten. It's just ridiculous, man. But this is Zephaniah 1:10. It says, and it shall come to pass in that day, saith the Lord Yahweh, that there shall be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Now, you got two reasons for this howling, right? From this noise of a cry from the fish gate. One, because prices are going to get hyperinflated first, because there's a scarcity of the fish, of the imports of seafood, of imports. You see what I'm saying? There's going to be a noise, and then the noise is going to come even further when they realize they're out. They have nothing else to bring in. Okay, it's about to get real out here in Babylon, and people have no idea. Okay, this is Psalms 105:16. Moreover, he called for a famine upon the land. He brake the whole staff of bread. So a whole staff of bread is referring to anything that can produce that. The whole staff, that's not talking about, just one loaf. That's talking about the crops that are producing the bread. You're not going to be able to get wheat and flour and barley. You're not going to be able to do that. Corn starch and all of that shit. You're not going to be able to get it. It's not going to be accessible because the Lord is going to bring more and more famine. Okay. Isaiah 51:19 says, these two things are come unto thee. Who shall be sorry for thee? desolation and destruction and the famine and the sword. By whom shall I comfort thee? And I believe the Lord calls those his four evils. I'm gonna get it in a minute. But he said, who shall be sorry for thee? Are the men of the Lord gonna be sorry because you now desolate and destroyed and you ain't got no food and you getting messed up and jacked up out here? We're not gonna bat an eye, man. Matter of fact, it says we shall laugh and rejoice, right? We're gonna laugh at famine. We're gonna laugh at your destruction. Okay? This is what it says was gonna happen to the righteous. The people that believe, Psalm 37:19, they shall not be ashamed in the evil time, and in the days of famine, they shall be satisfied. So we're not, our concerns are not the same concerns as the wicked. And people are seeing this place going down. They're seeing their money being stretched thin. They're seeing all of the problems that are coming. And, you know, like the brother sent this one dude in the world that said something earlier. He said, man, this place is falling, man. He said, it's just like when you throw something off the Empire State Building. He said, you see the end coming, we just ain't hit the ground yet. And I was like, damn, that's on point. You know, that's exactly what's happening to America. All right. And this is Jeremiah 5:12. It says, they have belied the Lord and said, it is not he. Neither shall evil come upon us, neither shall we see sword nor famine. I've talked to people literally and have said to my face, I don't believe any of that is going to happen. That's when I'm like, all right, it's time to stop talking now. All right, well, hey, we gonna see. All right, we're gonna see if your truth is right or the truth is right. Okay, this is Ezekiel 5:16. When I shall send upon them evil arrows of famine, right? Because what does it say in Ecclesiasticus? It says that a famine is one of the things that's created for vengeance. It's an arrow meant to destroy. It says, when I shall send upon the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction. So famine is to destroy people, and which I will send to destroy you. So the Most High is sending it. And I will increase the famine upon you and will break your staff of bread. You see? So the Lord is letting you know that he's going to destroy everything that you consider food. He's going to take it all away. Ezekiel 14:13, and this one is a banger. It says, son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, which they have done monumentally here in America and around the world, but mainly here in America, then will I stretch out mine hand upon it. Right? Matter of fact, let me read that again. Son of man, when the land sinneth against me by trespassing grievously, then will I stretch out my hand upon it and will break the staff of the bread thereof and will send famine upon it and will cut off man and beast from it. So why is it so important? Because the Lord, this is what we saw in that video. The Lord is cutting off even the beasts. You see, he's to the point where you're not going to have things to eat. People going to be eating their goddamn hands off. You know, it says that in Isaiah 9:20, I believe. Man shall eat of his own arm. Okay. But it says, right, so I will break the staff of bread thereof. That's your whole supply chain. You know, it's a field called supply chain management. You know, the people who are responsible for getting you your goods. And that was the thing. The guy was talking about the Empire State, but he said he's a trucker. He said, I didn't work yesterday. I only worked 4 hours today. He said he used to work in 12 to 14-hour shifts. He said people are now only purchasing their needs. He said, so we're working less. People think truckers will always be around, but he said, we're not making money like we used to. We're not trucking as much because people are only buying their necessities. He said, and the only people that are out there going crazy are the fucking people, the people that know their rent is due and they can't pay for it anyway. So let me take a trip and go enjoy it. He said, those are the fucking people. But he said, everybody's suffering and it's time for people to stop acting like they're not. Right. And this is the judge. That's what it was. Verse Ezekiel 14:21. It says, for thus saith the Lord power, how much more when I send my 4 sore judgments upon Jerusalem? See, he said, my 4 sore judgments. He says, the sword and the famine and the noisome beast and the pestilence to cut off from it man and beast. And see, the Lord, he is going to have some animals around, but guess what? They're going to be animals, creatures newly created. You're not going to eat them. You know why? Because they're going to be so terrified that they're going to run away from it. It says, let me go ahead and get it. It says sparks coming from their eyes. Oh, man. Let me see if I can find that real quick. I spelled sparks wrong. Put an O. Um, I was spelling it wrong. Let me see here. Second Esdras. Nope, that's not it. Think about it. Think about it, brother. It says sparks from their eyes. Forgive me. Let me type that. Creature newly created. Yeah, let me type that. It should come up. Newly created. Bear with me, y'all. Salakia. I just came to my mind. Wisdom of Solomon. That's it. Wisdom of Solomon 11 and verse 17. It says, "For thy almighty hand that made the world of matter without form, wanted not means to send among them a multitude of bears or fierce lions." Getting destroyed by those is a terrible death. Or unknown wild beasts, full of rage. You see that? So these unknown wild beasts are going to be full of rage. You're not going to be like, oh, let me take that down so I can eat it. It's going to be full of rage. It's going to have the spirit of the Lord on it. It ain't going to be something that you want to try to fight and eat. Nah. These are going to be different creatures, man. It says newly created. So these are going to be new animals that the Lord is making. Breathing out either a fiery vapor. It says breathing out a fiery vapor, or filthy scents, or scattered smoke, or shooting horrible sparkles out of their eyes. That's what it is, horrible sparkles, right? So if you see an animal you never seen before, and it's breathing out gas with fire, or it got a smell that's worse than a goddamn skunk, or scattered smoke, or shooting horrible, it got sparks coming out of their eyes, you can be like, hey, I need to get away. You see what I'm saying? These things is going to terrify people. You see? Let me go now. When you read Luke 21:11, it says, "And great earthquakes shall be in diverse places, and famines, and pestilences, and fearful sights, and great signs shall there be from heaven." So we're coming into the time where these famines, this famine is going to come, right? People are thinking that people have grown too comfortable in this place, thinking that food is so easily accessible. Well, the Lord is about to break your staff of bread here in this country, man. This is 2 Ezra 16:21. "Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." And right now, that's what people think, they're in good case. Ain't no way food's going to go out. They're even talking about how tuna has been used so much that they're getting low on tuna. And I saw a video about it, people making jokes in the comment section like, oh, I better eat more so I get as much as I can before it goes away. Yeah, all right. Y'all making these jokes. Ain't gonna be no tuna. It ain't gonna be no food supply. Ain't gonna be no bread. It ain't gonna be no easily access. Ain't gonna be no fast food. Ain't gonna be no damn crabs and lobsters for y'all to smash on. It ain't gonna happen. It says, for verse 22, "For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy." You see? So this is for all the non-believers. But the Lord said his servants are going to eat. He's going to feed us in miraculous ways while all of the rest of the world is starving. Is that not a God worth praising? That's the thing. Right now, we're feeling the opposite of what the world is feeling because they're rejoicing. They're in mirth, right? But we're suffering. So the Lord's like, okay, it's only right that when they're suffering, it's time for y'all to rejoice. It's time for y'all to eat. Right now, we be going to places. We be the servants. Y'all as be doing DoorDash, and you going to restaurants you ain't never been to. Food you can't even afford. But you seeing Esau up in there smashing 2:30 and they're cooning out, smashing food with the N-dub. So the Lord got it where they're going to be suffering, and we're going to be eating and drinking good, man, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. So this is why that's one reason why it's so important to fear the Lord, because you don't want to end up at being one of the people who getting hit with the evil arrows of famine, man. But things like this, expect more events like this where animals are going to start beaching themselves, animals dying, things like that. And, it's all good. It's all through the spirit. The Lord just sending them to other parts of the world. But it's going to get real out here in America. People just have no clue what's coming, man. They can feel it, but they don't know how to spiritually prepare. They just they're trying to get back to normal. Every day just trying to be normal, live normal lives instead of getting in tune with the spirit. You know, but I'm gonna wrap it up with that. I pray, Lord willing, that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and mercy to the elect. Until next time.